What's up, buddy? It is Jason David Frank, the guy with the 3 first names and many other colors of Power Rangers. I understand you have a YouTube channel where you do what ifs. That's pretty cool, dude. Anyway, just want to send you my love. Without you guys, wouldn't be here. And just want to do a big shout out to Did Man Bones. That's your online name, and I just wanted to give you a big shout out. And you know it's morphin' time, but the night is ours. All right, buddy, ready? And it's morphin' time.
The following is intended for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Greetings, Deadites. It's been a minute. Welcome back to part 2 of Miles Morales, a Venom prequel story. Last time, we saw Miles come into the realization of just what his quirk could do, and ended with him designing a suit and making himself a name, Spider-Man. Personally, I think getting materials would be easier due to the existence of heroes and quirks, but let's be clear. Despite the fact that I'm using pictures of his completed suit, he's not wearing anything near that at this moment. He's basically wearing a hoodie with the design he painted on, or sewed on. Either way, he's wearing a hoodie. We'll jump back in on someone else's life for a moment. Aaron Davis, to be more specific. Aaron Davis ain't exactly rich, but he's not broke either. But come now. Those of you that know of Davis's nature should know that he's at least got to be a thief of some sort. Aaron treads the paper-thin line of vigilante and anti-hero quite often, actually. But truth be told, given Miles's age, I'm gonna say that his parents, and by extension, his uncle, are in their late 30s to mid 40s. Since I can't find their exact ages anywhere, but either way, I digress. And as such, Aaron Davis has had his fair share of action as the Prowler. He's liberated his fair share of equipment from both hero and villain alike during his stint as the Prowler, to make his hood somewhat safer. Sure, heroes were cool and the police weren't completely incompetent, but let's say they prioritized certain areas, and the lower income areas of Brooklyn weren't exactly high in that list unless some big time I'm gonna kill everybody villain came up in. And by that time, they would have already done a boatload of damage to the neighborhood and its denizens. One day, our man had enough, and he put his quirk and skills as a petty thief to use. He didn't even tell his brother about the small haul he had gotten. Aaron would utilize this lifted tech to make his first step as the Prowler. In the beginning, he had to play a game similar to what Venom is doing in the present timeline, with less emotions to be involved, truth be told. At this point, Jefferson hadn't quite gone straight, but he had met Rio, so it wasn't an inevitability. Aaron made a point of doing his thing as the Prowler alone. His brother had no quirk, and he didn't want to drag him into this. Thus, the suit that covered his whole body. He also made voice modulators to change his accents and the way he talks from time to time. It's like, that's a fun thing about a full bodysuit. speak a different way and they won't know that they're looking for a brother at all. But enough about Aaron's past. Let's get back to the present. Well, the present of the prequel at least. While Miles had a suit design and a motif to follow, he had no idea how he'd do that. At first, I considered giving him organic webbing, perish the thought in this instance, but that just really won't fit with the story I'm weaving, so the first thing he gets to is working on his webs. It took a bit, but he actually got a working batch in. Now he needed a suit of some sort to hide his identity, but vigilantism is illegal after all. To be clear, however, considering the type of world he's in, he needs a better suit than what he's using, and that's what he's working. However, considering the type of world this is, I think getting a hold of certain materials would be easier for Miles. Of course, I'm not implying that some standard 18 to 19-year-old boy that's lived a somewhat normal life knows where to get the good stuff from. And I'm definitely not saying he's got full Spidey suit going, which I've made a point of saying he doesn't. But yeah, considering that there are quirks that people can't exactly turn off, Miles can get a hold of certain fabrics. Now a problem. The real problem here is his girlfriend. Miles is attempting to stay under the radar with this one. Kamala would never approve of what he was trying to do. Miles just got done trying to the leap of faith and failed. However, he had a chance encounter and caught a smuggler. Of course, at this time, he still doesn't have web shooters, so he can't just web them up. However, he did have a plan. Miles was going to sneak behind the mugger using his invisibility and then attempt to use what he had deemed his Venom blast. While he could go invisible on demand, and the Venom blast was a little trickier for him at the moment. However, this was a fight or flight moment, and his mind had chosen fight. He had picked the right moment to strike and immobilized his intended victim. The target of the mugger ran for it, and we see Spider-Man in his basically Mark 1 suit, which at this point, once again, is a hoodie and mask with some gloves. However, unfortunately for him, a hero turns the corner of the alley to see him looming over the mugger. Halt, criminal! Spidey took one look at the hero before him and noticed who it was. Squirrel Girl, Doreen Green. What's worse is she's also a very close friend of Miles and Kamala's. Squirrel Girl, you got it all wrong. This fool was robbing a lady at knife point. It's right there. One of her squirrels actually put it in the evidence bag. Well, either way, you've got to at least go in for questioning, Mr. Vigilante. As Squirrel Girl made her move for him, Miles let out a Venom blast like he'd never done before. It just went from his hand and just traveled to the ground. It just imploded. For the first time, he had struck multiple targets with his Venom blast, one of which being Squirrel Girl. Miles began to climb up a wall while going invisible. However, before that, he'd say under his breath, "I'm sorry, Dodo Bird." He crawled and leapt from the scene, not knowing how long she'd be immobilized for. Miles kept leaping his way around and came to a discovery. If I'm gonna call myself Spider-Man, I'm gonna need to go all out with the motif. Time to break out the chemistry kit. Miles began making simulations for a device that could actually deploy the webbing that he had created. He called them web shooters, obviously, but still. He also simulated stronger formulas for his webs It took him a few weeks, but he finally had something, and all he needed was to, well, actually finish the delivery method. It didn't take him much longer to finish the web shooters, to which he would be hiding within his hoodie. That's mostly for my sake. I absolutely hate external web shooters. They paint a giant target on Spidey's wrist. Like, hey, here's my implementing for webbing. Come on, break my wrist and my web shooters. They look cool, but at what price? But let's get back to the story, yeah? I'm sure you're curious where he's coming up with this kit. Well, he can't do it at home. His parents would be way too nosy, and he's not going to pull a Tim Drake and leave his suit in the closet. The Avengers branch where Kamala works is not even an option at all. So, it's not the only other place that he has access to where prying artists aren't much of a thing. He's at his uncle's place, especially since he's been house sitting for the last week or two. He's happy that Squirrel Girl didn't come after him, really. Miles was actually in the middle of working on designs for the suit when his spider sense went off. Of course, our boy went invisible since he was in costume at the moment. However, he saw some dude enter through the window in the dead of night. Surprise awaited him when said dude took off his mask. Uncle Aaron is the Prowler? No way. Unfortunately, Miles picked that moment to be a klutz and trip. Who's there? When no one answered, Aaron produced some sort of weapon in his hands. Now things made sense. Miles came to realize that his uncle had been downplaying his quirk for his whole life. Don't move. I can see you. The gun was pointed straight at Miles. Don't shoot, Uncle Aaron. It's me, Miles. I'm going to say he spoke in both English and Spanish in panic. So parts of that were in English and other parts were in Spanish. I'm not going to bother with the translation. Miles took off his mask to bring the point home, and Aaron chuckled. Boy, you almost had a bad time there. Let's get dressed in civvies and get some pizza. Then we can talk it here all about all of this. Aaron made hand motions around himself and Miles. After a long chat, Aaron figured out that the spider bite jump-started Miles's quirk. And the situation he was put in had inspired him to make the world a better place with what he had. But he was green. Aaron had heard about Spider-Man, but didn't think much of it due to him being some green young blood on the scene. Your training starts tomorrow, young blood. If you want to be a part of the scene, then you've got to be prepared. I'll be training you up. I was looking for a replacement anyway. My quirk, Technophile, lets me utilize tech to augment my body. This suit here is years of practice. While yes, I think I age a little slower due to some of my augmentations, I'm getting tired, nephew. It's a brand new generation, and Brooklyn needs someone new to look after it. I'm gonna train you up, and then assist you as best I can. Basically, Aaron was saying he'd be Miles's man in the chair, the Bruce Wayne to his Terry McGinnis, the Oracle to his, well, Batman, well, you get the point. Get some rest, nephew, because you're gonna need it. Also, we're doing something about that ridiculous studios tomorrow. If you like that, United States has smashed that like button. Let's go full cowling on the notification icon. Ring that bell, baby. And of course, don't forget to go plus ultra on the subscribe if you're not. Now rest easy, Deadites. And remember,
night is ours.